that can't tune in because we have them in Europe and Australia has lots of calls going on. In the US, people are back at work. I think they're working until they close this down again, right? I think that seems to be the general thing around the world. But my name's Lauren Lahav, and Suzanne, I was thinking about you. I was like, oh my gosh, she's probably just working before they close her down again there in California. So
Uh,
you're who I actually was just thinking about. So
uh,
uncertainty of like closing and not closing.
uh,
So anyway, my name's Lauren Lahav, and this is my 13th year with the Juice Plus company, and we are blessed to have a community around the world. I think the true gift of this amazing business and this profession are the sideline supports and friendships that I've made around the world. And this, like I said, it's my 13th year, and our guest tonight is her 13th year as well. She's a mama of 5. I don't have a bio to read about. I'm just speaking about how much I love and adore her. She's an IMD. She's married to one of the very first people that I ever did an event for. When I think that I just gone, our team had gone QNMD or something. It's like, will you come up to like Toronto in January? And I'm like, sure, right? And so went up to Toronto, and now I'm so happy that they met each other and are married and growing their businesses together as well. But tonight is really the most important thing about our business. You know, we always talk about the two best ways, whenever we are teaching personal development seminars, we always talk about the two best ways to learn are through stories and by putting people in an experience. And it's all about I mean, you always look for, I mean, think about any story out there, right? You always, it's the hero's journey in some way. And so tonight, Courtney's going to share with us about how to share your story in a powerful way where people want to know more, where there's just a curiosity there and that they like that. I mean, I know for me with Jeff, I watched him live the story, if you would, and then hearing Cheryl's stories. So I'm not going to take up much time. I'm going to make sure, grab your pen and paper because you want to take lots of notes. And I am going to go ahead and pass it on over to Court. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. I hope that my Wi-Fi is going to hang strong, like all of us in 2020. We're going to hang strong there. It's always an honor when Lauren calls and reaches out and asks for me to be a part of anything that she's doing. Because you all, if you haven't realized or not, you are very blessed to have such an amazing, heartfelt, strong leader that's just leading the way for you all. So thank you so much, Lauren. I hope that I do it all justice for you all tonight. This is one of my favorite things to talk about is our story. And this is something that I learned really, really early on in the business is that people cannot argue with your story. They can argue facts, right? They can argue with you, you know, over things that you say about your product or whatever, but they can't argue with your story. And so even for a brand new baby partner in the company, it's easy for them to share their heart and share, you know, their story, you know, whether they've just started the product. I was one that signed up for product business same time. So I didn't have a story necessarily around the product, but I had a why that it made sense for me to put that product in my body, right? In my family's body. And so that was what I started with. So I thought what I would do tonight is kind of give you a bigger picture of my story. I know I've met many of you and you may have already heard my story, but this is what's really cool about our stories is that there's so many different versions of our stories. It depends on who I'm talking to. You know, we're not one-dimensional people. We have all different aspects to us, you know, so I might share from my personal trainer perspective, that part of my story. I might share from my mom perspective because I'm a mom of 5. I might share from the perspective of a daughter of a cancer. My mom had breast cancer. So I might be sharing from that perspective. I might be sharing from the busy work at home professional. Anyway, you see my point. I want you to write down, get out your pen and paper and write down some of the different facets of you. What are the different things about you that you could relate to people and share your story from that place? Like right now, this week, we're doing a merry little detox. And so we're spending 5 days and really just jumping in with this detox. It's the shred, but we're adding our little cranberry drink to it. And so I'm sharing my story from the perspective of, I want to hit a goal. I want to do this. I want to feel better. I want to get my energy. So all my social media is around that perspective, right? So I'm going to share my broad story of who I am about, with the product and the business. There's two types of stories that we share. One is the friendship reconnection story, which is a little bit longer, right? It's where you're having a conversation over coffee or over Zoom right now. I guess sometimes we're not getting together anymore, but whatever it is, and it's that reconnection of what's going on in your life, what's happening, and you're kind of filling them in. And the other is the elevator story, right? You got to be able to tell that elevator story. And before I jump into my story, I'll share this, is that, what I learned is that we are paid storytellers. Get really good at sharing your story. Get really confident at sharing your story. Get in front of the mirror and share your story with yourself. And this is a tip that I give to people. It's because facial expressions are everything. Have you ever seen, and pardon me if any of you know somebody or close to someone that is a used car salesman, and sometimes their face just gets like this, like they're hungry, like they're going to pounce on you at any moment. You want to know what your face looks like when you're sharing. And if you're like me and never done anything like this before, I didn't know when I get nervous, what kind of a face do I make? When I get stumbled on my words, what kind of a face do I make? And so I really worked on not being an actress, because I don't want to be an actress. I want to come from my heart, but I want to be confident that my facial expressions match the words in my heart. Okay. All right. So I'll just share my story. So about 13 years ago, I was overworked, overcommitted, exhausted mom, 5 kids. My oldest was 11. My youngest was 1. I was still a nursing mama, personal fitness trainer. I worked out of my home. I always wanted to own my own business. So I did that through personal training and owning boot camps. So I did it all out of my home so that I could be there with my kids. So I had 15 personal training clients per week. I was training them anywhere between 2 and 5 times a week. And I had 17 boot camps a week out of my home. All right. So the last thing I needed was one more thing to do. But the first thing I needed was for my kids to be healthy, because if they were sick, I couldn't go be with my clients. I had to cancel my boot camps, all of those things. So I was desperate for my children to be healthier. It's so interesting how we as mamas, sometimes our desperation of our kids being healthier inspires us to live a healthier life. So I'm really grateful to my children for being sick. I don't know, because it really led me into this place of, okay, there's more to looking good and health than just exercise. I had no idea that phytonutrients, I didn't even know what they were. And my college degree is in corporate health and fitness. They hired me in corporations and hospitals and schools to go in and help the employees get and stay healthy. I learned nothing about micronutrition, nothing about phytonutrients. So my whole world was opened up when I learned that they could put fruits and vegetables in a capsule. I'm like, what? That's the best thing ever, because the only thing green we ate in our house was mushed broccoli with Velveeta cheese, processed cheese on it, because it was the only way my kids would eat it. So I was excited for a simple way to get started on our health journey and get my kids healthier. And what happened in the process was that I realized that I was rusting from the inside out. I was exhausted. I was drinking about 7 to 8 cups of coffee a day, a lot of coffee, and it wasn't helping me at all. I was a sugar addict. I had very little energy, and I had arthritis in my spine, in my hips, and my knees. I was in pain most of the time, living on ibuprofen. And so it was amazing what the power of these magic pills, these capsules, plant powders would change in my body, decreasing that inflammation. And I began to crave more real food. It was amazing. I had never craved a tomato in my entire life. My 4-year-old came to me and said, "Mommy, can we have raw broccoli at dinner?" We had never had anything like that before. So small changes began to happen over time. And I remember I said, I signed up to do all this at the same time because as a mom of 5, I wanted the best price possible. Who doesn't? We all love best price possible. So I got the Healthy Starts for Families. So I sponsor a kid. One of my kids got it for free. And my former husband, he sponsored one of the kids. He didn't even take the product, but I gave the product to the kids anyway. I didn't care. I'm like, everybody's taken this. And then I said, okay, that's a great price, but is there a better price? And she said, well, you could do the business. You could sign up to be a partner. And I was like, oh, I'm never going to tell anybody about this, but I'll do it. But don't ask me to tell anybody. But this is what the really cool part about this is that I'm not a salesperson at all. As a matter of fact, I actually interviewed with my father's company right out of college for a 100% commission sales based job, and they wouldn't hire me. My dad said, "What did you do?" And I said, "I don't know." He said, "They won't hire you. That you're that bad of a salesperson." So what I learned was when you become passionate about something, when something strikes your heart or your mind, or that burning desire in your belly begins to grow because you see that you can make changes in people's life, sales aren't about any of this. It's not about sales. It's about loving people more than you care about what people think about you. And that's what happened to me. I thought, any good girlfriend would go and tell their friends that they can help keep their kids healthier. Like, why not? Any good friend is going to go and tell her friend that, hey, we take these capsules, we can have more energy in our day, right? I don't know what's going to do for you, but this is what it's done for me. And I just became a good friend. I became a good daughter. I became that person that didn't push, but I shared authentically from my heart. And I got really good at sharing my story. And what I learned is that my rule around all of this was that I never wanted to go into a conversation with someone and have them do this and just stare at me the whole time, because it drives me crazy right now that none of you are talking back to me because I'm doing all the talking, and I know that. That's not what we want to do. We used to say, you bring the people, I'll bring the presentation. We don't say that anymore. You bring the people, I'll bring the conversation. And that's what we want to do. So on our team, we have a rule: for every 2 statements we make, we have to ask a question. And this is in that friendship conversation, that reconnection, right? And what you learn through those questions that you ask in this conversation of sharing your story is that you get to hear what their needs are. You get to hear where they relate to your story, right? So I love giving this analogy. I call it the purse dump. So, if you were to not see a friend for a really long time, you're like, hey, let's have coffee. Great. And you see them, they're sitting on the park bench waiting for you, and you run up to them and you don't say anything. You just dump out your purse in front of them and you stand back and look at them. They're going to look at you like you're crazy, right? Because when you do something and you just dump, people are like, oh, I'm not sure I can digest all of that right now, right? Instead, like, take one piece out at a time. Hey, oh my gosh, I love your purse. I just got a new purse. And you start to relate. Have you seen a wallet like this? One of my friends gave me a wallet, whatever. You're starting to break apart your story and have the conversation. It creates curiosity, and you're going to learn so much more than the dump, right? So I'm going to share, kind of dissect the story a little bit for you. And I will say this: you don't have to know all the stuff that I'm sharing right now. We actually have it out there for you on thefreedomrevolution.com. That's okay for me to share that, Lauren, right? Because I know you've got people all over. Thefreedomrevolution.com. The password is revolution, and it is under training and sharing your story. Okay, so this is where you'll find this, and I have it printed off and everything. So there's a sheet that you can fill out that'll help you with this. But I'm going to kind of dissect it in my own little way. But you'll be able to follow it on the form for your story. All right. So we have in a story we have 3 parts. It's so effective, you guys. We have the beginning. You ready for the next part? We have the middle, and then the end, and that's it. That's all you have to know. And this is your story. Nobody can argue with you about it, right? Okay, so the beginning. What is the beginning? What exactly does that mean? The beginning is before Juice Plus. What attracted me to Juice Plus? So before Juice Plus I. Now, a lot of times people were healthy before Juice Plus. Like I was a vegan before, not me, but a lot of, I've heard people say this. I was a vegan for Juice Plus. I exercise all the time. I was the healthiest person you'll ever meet, right? So if that is your story, don't worry. You don't have to share that piece of perfection, but what you can share is what attracted you to Juice Plus. Hey, I was already living a healthy life, but this just made sense. And this is why. What attracted you to Juice Plus? All right. But if you're like me, an exhausted mom, or just an exhausted person, overcommitted person, looking for some energy, looking to try and keep our youth as long as possible. And if you're young on this call, take your Juice Plus because you're going to want to live forever. You're going to want to stay looking young forever if you're going to live forever, right? So what I'm going to say to you is this, get your beginning down. People don't always relate to your exact story, but what they'll relate to are emotions, right? They relate to emotions. And I'm going to share this story that I was working with one of my teammates on her story. And she said that she had acne. She had really bad acne. And so with the really bad acne, I was like, okay, I don't relate to that. I've not had acne. I don't have acne. My daughter had acne, but I didn't personally relate to that. And I knew if she shared this acne story, her face broke out, that it wouldn't pertain to everybody that was in front of her, right? That's being disease specific or condition specific. And so what I said was, how did having acne make you feel? And she said, I was embarrassed. I never wanted to leave the house. It kept me from being the person that I wanted to be. I was just always at home. I never wanted to leave my house. And I'm like, so how did that make you feel? How did that make you feel? And I want you to ask yourself that question. How did that make you feel? How did you feel when I didn't have any energy, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when my kids came home from school and I was taking a nap, I didn't want to help them with their homework. And I was, grumpy at them because I had to help them, I felt guilty. Right. So what is it, that feeling that you had before? Because that's what people are going to relate to. You can share your specific, but make sure you share the emotion that comes with it, because people will relate to that. All right. And in the middle is what you did. Right? What'd you do? So the capsules, for me personally, I'll just share, the capsules made so much sense for me. And the chewables for my kids, listen, they love anything in a packet that's soft chew and tastes good. They were all about it. That just made sense for me. For me, swallowing a capsule's way easier than trying to make sure I'm getting enough fruits and vegetables in my diet throughout the day, right? It just made sense for me. So I took the capsules, my kids took the chews, and it was one simple change at a time. We became more aware of our health and what we were doing, right? Do you hear me in this? Like, I'm just walking through what it is. If you had something that was more than just energy, like let's just say, and I've had so many people, because we want to be compliant with this. If you are new to this, to Juice Plus, and you're hearing all of this for the first time, take a deep breath and exhale. It's all good. Your sponsor, Upline Support, will help walk you through this. So I don't want to overwhelm anyone, but we do want to make sure that we're not making any claims. We're not saying anything that would be, even if it is true for you, what we know is Juice Plus is fruits and vegetables, right? Fruits and vegetables work when you put them in your body consistently, but we don't want to say, I took Juice Plus and I now don't have X, Y, or Z disease or whatever. We don't want to make any of those claims. So what I teach people is, tell me what other things you did besides taking Juice Plus. If you're taking the capsules, you're drinking water, I bet, right? I bet you're drinking water now. Like when you look at your, every time your credit card gets charged, you see you're investing in your wellness. How does it make you feel, right? Knowing that you're investing in your wellness. I started buying apples at the store, or I bought my first pair of tennis shoes and I started walking again, whatever it is, it's one simple change at a time. And I always share that over time. This is what we did. All right. And then the end. The end is the happily ever after. And you might not necessarily have had any massive change in your health. Again, if you're that person that already started off as healthy, but there might have been some small changes, some shifts, some things that you've seen over time. And again, if you are new, and you haven't been on the product that long, what I like to share is what you're hopeful for, right? And so I just started the product. If you're the new person, I just started the product last month. And it's been a couple of weeks on it. And I'm so excited. I'm taking the capsules every day and drinking my water. I'm being mindful about moving my body daily. And I'm trying to eat some more salads, but I'm really excited to see how good I'm going to feel in 6 months, in a year, because my goal is, or I want to make sure that I'm living my best life, that I have energy for when my kids need me, or that I'm able to look cute in a bikini when I'm 50 years old or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? You decide what that is, but your ending is your story. It's your happily ever after. And what is that for you? Right? It makes you stop and think for a second. For those of you who have been around for a while, even a while could even be a year, or even less than a year, but you've been around and you've kind of been telling the same story over and over again, I would encourage you to get a new story. Get a new story. And it's really interesting. Jay Martin, our founder and president of our company, he said that from main stage, and it impacted me. I almost felt a little bit guilty because I'd been with the business for about 5 years. And I remember thinking, oh, I guess I probably have gotten a little stale in what I say. And it kind of becomes robotic. You kind of share your story the same way every time. The first thing I do with a teammate that says, I'm stuck in the business, I go back to the product. I go back to their story and I go, tell me how you're taking your Juice Plus. And it's amazing that it all goes back to that. It goes back to your relationship with your health and how you're taking that product. And if you're ho-hum about it, you haven't tried a new recipe lately, you haven't tried this, you haven't tried the complete shakes and made peanut butter fudge with them. Hello. If you haven't done any of those things, you need to get some of those things. You need to get excited about it. And this is the most fun part about our business is that I love this stuff. This is amazing. Like I get excited every day. So it's never work for me. This is not work. This is an honor. This is a pleasure to get to share my heart and my excited. Yes, Lauren, peanut butter fudge. I will share that recipe with Lauren so that you guys have it. Always get excited. So what I did when Jay Martin said that was when I created my program as a personal trainer, a healthy eating program. Some of you were a part of that years ago. And I got a new story. Like I got myself in shape. I was feeling good, so whatever story that is for you, it might be new recipes. It might be that all of a sudden you're cooking things in the kitchen that you've never cooked before. Share that stuff. That's exciting. And I'm not the kitchen person. I will be honest with you guys. 13 years later, I still hate to cook, but I have a passion for salads because I don't have to cook them. It's amazing. So again, get a new story and then get really good at sharing it. So your elevator story, let's just touch on that really quick because I want to be really respectful of your time. We're closing in here. Your elevator story is that, 15 to 30-second story. If you were to be on a short ride on the elevator with someone and they were to say, what do you do? What would you say? immediately our hands get clammy and we get nervous. So be prepared with that, and we've learned very much so to create curiosity so that the conversation can continue. So you don't dump even in the elevator. You keep it short, you keep it sweet. I've been on a health journey. I'm really excited. I'm part of a health and wellness movement. We're changing lives. We're getting healthier, and we're helping people earn incomes from home or from anywhere they are in the world. Hey, let me get your phone number real quick. I'll send you a video. You get their number and you put it in your phone. Never give them your card. I always get a phone. I know Lauren's taught y'all this, but that's the first thing I do. Let me get your number and I'll send you a video. Now I've got their information and I'm going to carry on a conversation, right? You do what you do from there. But make sure you have that elevator spiel down so that you know what to say. I've had so many missed opportunities because I didn't know what to say in that spur of the moment situation, right? So just be ready for that, because I find that those chance meetings can be some of the best things that have ever happened to your business. I want to see if there's anything else. Oh, this is really good. People are not buying Juice Plus. You know that, right? They're not buying Juice Plus. They're buying you, your story, your belief, your passion, your excitement. They're buying your result. They want what you have. And so what I would say to you is, if you're sharing bits and pieces of your story on social media, do it in small tidbits of quantities, a little bit at a time, and create curiosity, not just about Juice Plus, but about your health journey. And I promise you, even those posts and things that you put up, that you only get 1 or 2, likes or comments or whatever, they're watching you. So keep showing up. Keep showing up, create that curiosity so that you can start conversations. This has been probably one of the biggest years I've ever had in my business. And it's literally been from home because we've been pretty much locked down. So I hope that this was helpful for you all tonight, and that you get excited about something that's so simple and so yours. Your business is yours. And it all starts, your entire business starts with you eating those capsules every day, taking that shake, growing your tower, whatever it is that you're doing that lights you up, and sharing it with the world. So, Lauren, I
You're
hope.
awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It was so great and just, to the point. I think too many times people make it way too difficult. So coming up with, your conversation story and coming up with your elevator story and just that beginning, middle, and end. I like it. I love it. Simple. That's kind of like how I like it. And then get their number. Tasha Minter from the UK. I loved how she would do it. She goes, "Oh my God, can I get your Instagram?" Let's connect right here. Give me your phone. I'll give you my Instagram. Give me your Instagram right there. So
Yep.
many ways to do it. It's awesome. Does anybody have any
Absolutely.
final questions or any last homework that you want to give them?
I looked down at my paper and there was one other thing. Obviously, I had a lot of life changes over the last 13 years. With a 22-year marriage ending and 5 children and becoming a single mom and then getting remarried. So just know that your story may change, not necessarily like mine, but your story may change. And so embrace that as it does, as life happens. Embrace that. 2020 probably brought a lot of new stories out there.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I would say, especially right now, is to embrace your 2020 story, because that's the one that's going to relate to people the most. And I would say to you, take 2020, write down all the wins from 2020. And if you can't think of a win, I'm sure you can. Write down lessons learned, right? Because that's going to help you with your 2020 story. Does that make sense? Your win is your ending, right? And your lessons learned, that's kind of your middle. And I think it's important. Our health is more important than anything in the world. We learned that in 2020. And guess what else is more important than going to a job at a corporate, Fortune 500 company, owning your own business and be able to work from anywhere, right? some big lessons learned in 2020 that a lot of people didn't know. And we have the solutions for them. We just have to present it in a way that is yummy, that people want to accept and embrace and join you in your journey. So
I'm with
that's
you.
it.
I'm rewriting my story. You've inspired me. You know that. So
I
mine's
can't wait to hear it.
on this line have inspired me. Becky and Fee and
Aw,
you, all of you guys, and watch. I mean, especially Becky. If you get, I mean, not, I'm sorry, Becky's and Stacy's. Go to Stacy King's Facebook profile and check out her shoulders. And you tell me if you want to be inspired after, but watching all of you guys. So yes,
I love it.
thank you so much.
You're
Awesome.
welcome.
And get everybody ready. Can you talk real quick about Take Action Tuesday and why we want everybody on Take Action Tuesday? Can you talk?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is huge. Take Action Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the 15th of December. I don't know where that falls with everybody around the world, but we have got Dr. Tamara Sachs is coming on, and this is so cool. She is going to talk about nourishing your body and your mind. And I think right now with mindset of 2020 and everything that's going on, it's going to be around that mind, the body mind relationship with food. So it's going to be powerful, perfect for guests. And then you guys, we are going to, Lauren is just brilliant, but we're going to be tackling some of those great obstacles that sometimes happen when we approach people about our business. And Cheryl Cortese is going to be reaching and sharing her wisdom in there as well. Lots of amazing, inspiring stories. You guys, if you have new team, listen, they're only going to do what you do. So if you're on, they'll be on. Get everybody on this, because from there we've got the gimmies. I'm trying to think of the itinerary now. We've got the gimmies, so all the new positions being met, QSSC all the way to NMD, and Jeff Roberti, none other than Jeff Roberti, closing us out. It's going to be phenomenal. And I hope that you guys will invest that little bit of time in your business, right? We get to invest, and you know that when we invest, we get a large return on that investment. There's always something that you get back with it. And if nothing else, it gives you something to talk to people about, right?
Awesome. So I love it. I'm excited. We're gonna have a lot of fun. You guys get ready for get ready. We're gonna make so. Thank you so much, my friend, and I'll see you guys on the next call.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. Y'all stay healthy.